2 years ago, I watched Oppenheimer and I found similarities between me and Oppenheimer, which is we love Bhagavad Gita. And I was like, probably we can be friends. You know what? Sometimes I feel so lonely because most people that I like are already dead. Most musicians that I like died. Actors that I like died. Scientists that I like died. So yeah, it's getting lonely out here. And there are books we read, and there are books that reach us back. The Bhagavad Gita belongs to the second category. It does not simply offer philosophy or give you motivation. This book destroyed me. This book confronts you. It asks you where you stand when the world demands action. For me, the Bhagavad Gita did not just shape my spiritual journey, but this book also shapes my taste in literature. I read the Bhagavad Gita 10 years ago, and after that, nothing can satisfy me. That's why my taste in literature is quite pathetic. I like writers that talks about meaning and suffering and sometimes about identity crisis. I like Dostoevsky, Viktor Frankl, Oscar Wilde. The Bhagavad Gita takes place in the middle of a war, not before the war, not after the war, in the middle of the war. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna is frozen. He does not know what to do. He sees his teachers, his cousins, and friends on the opposite side. His body trembles. He says he would rather die than kill the people he loves. And this scene changed how I read literature. I'm no longer satisfied with stories that are only entertaining. I look for stories that stand at the edge of moral dilemma or identity crisis. I look for characters who has doubt, who struggles with the idea of vice and virtue. I like a character who questions their duty, who suffers. And the Gita taught me that the most important moment in any story is not about the outcome of war, but the silence before the war, having the inner debate and having confusion about what's right and what's wrong. And I think that's so human. And that moment was the peak of literature at its highest form. Because literature, like life, is not about having clear villains and heroes. It's about having confusion and sometimes about having divided loyalty. And before encountering the Bhagavad Gita, I used to like stories where the heroes destroy the villain. But reading Gita is not like reading the war in The Lord of the Rings or in Harry Potter. Arjuna is not fighting demons or villains. He is fighting his own relatives. Krishna does not deny the tragedy. He does not say, this will be easy. Instead, he introduced me to a concept called dharma, which means sacred duty. Dharma is the role that we all should play in this cosmic order, whether you are just humans, animals, plants, stones, mountains, sky. Everything has their own duty in this universe. And from the understanding, I became drawn to literature that explores duty. Stories wherein the protagonist must act not because they want to, but because they have to. I began to see the greatest dharma is not about having external conflict, but it's about focusing on internal responsibility. And the portrayal of God in the Bhagavad Gita deeply shaped my philosophical imagination. Krishna is not a distant dictator commanding obedience. He is more like a guide or a friend who explains reality patiently. And he does not force Arjuna to fight. At the end he says, reflect on this fully, and then act after you choose your duty. And that line transformed my understanding about divine authority. In many stories, God is portrayed as absolute power, demanding submission from people. But in the Gita, God explains about the cosmic truth and then leaves the choice to the human being. And this changed how I evaluate religious literature. I'm drawn to texts where God respects human agency, where obedience is not about blind faith, but it's about having questions and having dilemma, because we are just human. And this book shapes how I write, I think, and I see the world. And one of the most important thing about the Bhagavad Gita is the approach to suffering. Arjuna's suffering is not removed. Krishna does not promise that war will not hurt him. He does not promise that your loved ones will survive. He does not promise emotional relief. Instead, he reframes suffering and he makes suffering meaningful. He introduced the idea that the soul is eternal, that death is just transformation, that attachment to the results causes despair and more suffering. And I'm less attracted to stories where suffering is merely a problem that need to be removed. I'm drawn to stories where suffering reveals truth about life, and the Gita does not eliminate pain, it gives it meaning. One of the most radical teachings of the Gita is called Nishkama Karma, which is focused on the action, not the result. This idea is deeply influenced how I understand the character development in stories. The strongest characters are not those who control the outcomes or the result, they are those who act rightly regardless of the outcomes. And this also changed how I deal with my own moral dilemmas and my own suffering. Modern discourse often reduces moral questions into simple categories like good or evil, right versus wrong. But the Gita refuses simplicity. Arjuna is right to feel compassion, he is right to question violence, but he is also wrong to abandon his duty. Krishna does not dismiss his emotions, he contextualizes them. This complexity shapes my taste in essays, novels, and philosophical writing. The Gita taught me that moral maturity means standing inside contradiction without sacrificing your inner peace. Krishna describes multiple paths in life. The first one is about devotion or bhakti, and then knowledge or jnana, disciplined action, karma, and the last one is meditation or dhyana. And there is no single personality type required, because God is not a vending machine dispensing rewards for rituals. God is the ground of being itself. And this concept made me less interested in religious literature that focuses only on heaven and hell. I am more drawn to texts that explore consciousness, self-realization, and alignment with cosmic order. And the Gita's God is vast, intimate, and infinite. When Krishna reveals his universal form, Arjuna trembles. He sees creation and destruction in one body. And I think it explains why life is full of paradox. And this imagery shaped my literary imagination. I became attracted to cosmic stories where people confront vast or this big reality of life beyond human control. And in moments where I question the existence of God because of suffering and war, the Gita does not offer sentimental comfort. It gives me deeper understanding about life itself and the law of nature. Gita says that I'm part of something vast and my perspective is limited. I know nothing about this world and about this universe. All of us are just swimming in this ocean of time, and someday we will drown. But oddly, it's not scary at all to be drowning. And the teaching that the soul is unborn and undying changes the way I see life. This does not mean I no longer feel sad. It means I do not see death as ultimate defeat of my existence. In literature, I am now drawn to the stories that confront mortality philosophically, not just emotionally. The Gita trained me to ask, who is the I that suffers? Is it the body, or just the ego, or something deeper than that? And Krishna speaks of the steady mind, or Shita Prajna. It means someone who remains balanced in pleasure and pain. And the ideal shaped my perspective in life. I admire characters who remain calm under pressure, not because they suppress their emotion, but because they understand this shall pass. Modern culture measures meaning through having achievement, wealth, and sometimes followers. The Gita measures meaning through our alignment with dharma. And the Bhagavad Gita shaped my taste in literature because it operates on multiple levels at once. This book is about war stories, philosophical dialogue, and a psychological introspection. And in modern world, it's quite difficult to find this kind of literature, so I highly recommend this book to you guys. And yeah, Gita taught me that the highest literature does not distract us from life itself, but it prepares you for it. And the most powerful lesson the Bhagavad Gita taught me is this: life will place you on a battlefield you did not choose. You will face moral dilemma without perfect information. And you will suffer, you will question God, you will doubt yourself, but life must go on. And in moments when meaning feels fragile, I remember Arjuna standing between two armies, trembling, but still choosing to rise and to fight. And that image remains with me until today. Not as a myth, but as a metaphor for every difficult choice I must make and you must make in your life.